This is the English sound video regarding the content that I made in one of my Danish videos. And in that video, I talked about red flags regarding therapy, because many ask me about this. So let's dive into this subject. When you pick a therapist or a coach, please promise me that you will be very careful. Okay, here we go regarding the red flags. So, if your therapist or your coach is rigid or start to criticize you about things that you might have done that they don't agree with, or if they say stuff like, "That's what I clearly told you not to do," that's a red flag. It's really important that you feel safe in therapy, and it's also very important that you feel like you can be yourself. So, if the therapist or the coach doesn't show you any empathy, or if they don't speak gently to you, then you need to change your therapist or your coach, because that's no good. Okay. The next red flag is if your therapist or coach talk way more than you do. That's clearly a big red flag, because therapy or coaching is about who? You. So you are supposed to be in the spotlight. All the focus must be on you. So again, it's a big red flag if that's not the case. If you haven't gotten a final price or made a clear deal regarding payment, that's also a red flag. Honestly, after being in a toxic relationship, you don't need any more unclear things in your life. So, unclear prices or an extra payment, well, no, thank you. If you have a therapist or a coach that keep canceling the appointments or keep postponing them, that's also a big red flag. If the therapy or the coaching is on the phone and your therapist or coach is on a spring break with her or his husband, wife, and kids, and you can hear the family in the background, or if they come when you are speaking and asking for things, well, that's also a red flag. Or if your therapist or coach sits in a train and use the traveling time to talk to you, that's a red flag. You are entitled to privacy and full attention. That's what you're paying for. If your therapist or coach plant any further worries in you, or come with examples of things that you should worry about, this will add to your stress and your fears. Darling, that's a red flag. If your therapist or coach won't admit that they did something wrong, I mean, maybe they misinterpret something that you said and therefore gave it a wrong advice, and now they won't admit it. That's a red flag. If your therapist or coach want to talk about subjects where you don't feel safe, or you feel, I'm not really ready yet for this, maybe it feels too overwhelming, and you say, I don't feel ready, I'm not there yet, and they still push you anyway, that's a big, big red flag. If your therapist or your coach projects on you, or if they start to plant shame in you, that's a big red flag. If your therapist or coach talk in general or just conclude things, that is also a red flag. If the therapist or coach cross your boundaries, and here I'm also talking about physical boundaries, maybe they lay a hand on your shoulder or they try to hug you and you're like, ugh, I don't like that. That's a red flag. If the therapist or coach push you too fast to deal with things that you are clearly not ready to deal with, and if they do not respect when you say no, that's a red flag. If you end up with a therapist or a coach that put everything in boxes and have those gray zones, that is also a red flag. If your therapist or coach demand you to do things, that's a big red flag. The thing is, when you have been in a narcissistic relationship with this toxic partner, or if you also come with childhood trauma or any other kind of trauma above this, then you need a therapist or a coach that is very, very gentle with you. You also need a person that's empathic and a person that's very open-minded. So thinking in boxes won't help you. Because the thing is that you probably won't fit into those boxes. And the same goes for your relationship with this narcissistic or toxic partner. It doesn't fit in any boxes. So it's really, really important to find a therapist or a coach that knows about trauma bonding, brain fog, love bombing, and all those things. Otherwise, it won't help you. That was the sound video. I hope that someone out there found it useful. As always, please take very good care of yourself and be safe out there. And promise me, if you decide to go to therapy and find a therapist or a coach, please do the research before you go there. Thank you for listening. Bye.